So I am Amy Grollman. I've been with the NABCA for 27 years now. It's been a journey. 20 of those years I've worked with DI. So we have a really good relationship. And I was joking with Fred yesterday, and I don't think he heard me, but I said, you know what, Fred, we can have a drink legally next year. So, you know, we've been, like I said, we've been with Dimensional Insight for 20 years, and it's a journey. We have a lot of data for the control states, which I will talk about later. And I was thinking about the presentation by Mark this morning about your numbers, you had to narrate, oh God, I'm already forgetting. NQ, numbers need a narrative. Thank you very much. Numbers need a narrative. We have a narrative about our numbers, but it's more than just the numbers. It is about who the NABCA is, and I just want to go, I'll go into that with my presentation. So, by the way, this is Gateway. My presentation's in Gateway. Kind of getting used to it, so apologize if I make some mistakes here. So who is the NABCA? We are a national trade association, a nonprofit. We were formed in 1938 to do two things: host an annual conference and to collect pricing information, just pricing information. You can read our mission there, but what I really want to point out to you is that we want to help our member states protect public health and safety. So this is really our true mission. We might deal with data, but we collect that data because the money that we get from selling subscriptions using DI's tools, we use that money to give grants back to states so that they can help the public understand the type of product alcohol is. It's a controlled substance. You know, it should be regulated. It's special. It's not like going into Sam's and getting toilet paper. So, you know, we'd like people to understand that. So for those of you in the healthcare industry who don't know what a control system is, born out of Prohibition, so late 1800s, early 1900s, there was one saloon for every 150 to 200 people. Americans. That's just amazing to me. So the temperance movement decided that, well, we need to abolish alcohol altogether. They actually had a strong backing, and so they were able to get the 18th Amendment passed, which abolished the sale of alcohol in the United States. Well, that didn't go well because you had all these, well, you know the history of the mob and everything, I'm sure. So in the 21st Amendment in 1933 said, well, no more prohibition because we just have to do this different. How are we going to do it different? We're going to give the states the ability to regulate the sale and distribution of alcohol. Each state can decide how they want to do it. And some states actually decided to let their counties and municipalities do it. So we represent these 17 states highlighted in blue, plus Montgomery County, Maryland, which is 5 miles from here or 45 minutes, depending on what time of day you're going. Always fun. The control states represent or are the 4th largest market in the world. But what's important about that is they represent total spirit sales. We're not sample data. We're like not Nielsen. These are total sales. So you can imagine for your health and public health, how important it is to see really what the consumers are buying. How important is the government to see the total numbers? So our data are very enticing. People want to see it, and we provide it to them using DI. So our relationship started in 2002, and I have to say, I was dying last night at the museum, which was awesome, by the way. We were walking, so we had a printing press, and I wasn't there, but there was a printing press that they used to print the annual reports on. So that's cool. Then they actually got a UNIVAC computer. Did anyone see in the back in Mission Control the UNIVAC? We had a UNIVAC. Woo! I couldn't believe that. Then we went to our own homegrown BI tool, and then a really failed experience with IBM. Sorry, IBM, but it was not a good experience. And then we found DI in 2002. We had one developer, one sysadmin, and Roger Williams. Does anyone remember Roger? Okay. Yeah. So put up our system, and we went live with ProDiver and DiveLine 5.0 in October 2003. We had 48 dive books and over 500 model files just for the data we had back then. But hey, we understood our users. We said, oh, we're only going to have 10 power users. You know, that's all we're going to need. Okay, that's one of the stories I want you to keep in mind. So we go through this period. We just do some minor release upgrades. We get to DivePort 6.4, and we're just, this is great. We've added a couple more power users. We're doing wonderful. And then we have some CEOs, sales managers. NABCA, really? Do we have to go into ProDiver all the time? Can't you just put up a simple dashboard for us? We just want to see what's going on with the business. And so, hey, Nancy Berkowitz, anybody remember Nancy? Fred, do you guys have a tool that does dashboards? Yeah, it's called DivePort. Oh, okay, well, let's start looking at that. So we put up our DivePort site in 2011, and it takes off. We add more users. So, you know, we're just adding users, and we're collecting more data. Now we're collecting daily data, and it's account level data. What are bars and restaurants purchasing? So, again, just accumulating all this data. The board of directors comes to us in 2017-18, and they say, you know, that price quotation web form you guys have pretty much sucks. Can you guys figure that out? And guess what? We're at a DIUC. It was either DIUC 17 or 18. And somebody does a session on DivePort in. Oh, yeah, that might work for our online form. So we go to DI, get a quote, two-thirds less than any other responder. And by the way, they also knew the alcohol beverage industry. So we put DivePort in. And then, like I said, we're collecting all this data. ProDiver 6.4 doesn't really handle all that data too well. And DI all along is like, NABCA, please go to Spectre, please go to Spectre. We're like, no, we're not going to do it yet. We don't want to do it. In late 2019, we had to. We moved to Spectre. Oliver, somewhere, he might still be here. Oh, by the way, Mike Brockway and Tanya, I meant to shout you guys out, I forgot. They did the whole PQRS thing. So Oliver got with us in late 2019, early 2020, two developers, kind of 2.5 developers, a sysadmin, and me, just to watch them do the magic. And we just met to, you know, really improve things with our ProDiver interface and everything, quicker builds, quicker for our customers. Well, then, you know, the world kind of stops in March of 2020, and we're like, oh my God, we got to get this done though. Our boss has said it's going to be up in June 2020. We were up June 5th, 2020, 5 days late, but I think it was pretty darn good. So we decided to move to DiveLine and the whole 7.1 suite just because we wanted some more speed improvements and stuff. So we did that in July of 2021. And now here we are in September of 2022. We have 84 dive books, a little under 200 C-bases for all these different kinds of data. Well, we have now all these business and data analysts. We have the C-suite people. We have managers, compliance officers. Well, there's that one group, salespeople. We don't really have to worry about them. They just sell the stuff. No, we do need to worry about them, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after, because I'm like leading you guys on here. Our relationship with DI. Again, DI, they have some really creative people here. By the way, not just personal lives too. They do great, some of them do great artwork. But we had some business problems. We're a small nonprofit. We don't have a big staff. We've got a lot of subscribers to our data. How do we manage that? The intangibles, understanding the beverage alcohol industry. That helps incredibly. high return on investment. Obviously, coming in 2/3 under other companies is just incredible. And then they're patient with us. They know what's available. They're on top of technology. And they let us just kind of be slow and then finally respond and say, yeah, we got to make the move. So I'm going to show you a couple of the creative solutions that they've set up for us. So this is with mainly with our ProDiver. Again, we have 80 supplier companies and brokers who subscribe to our data. So that's pretty tough to manage, given some of them are dive ports, some of them are ProDiver, some of them are both ProDiver, and some of them can only see Alabama data versus Pennsylvania data, and so on. So they created, and I can look on there actually, this member management tool for us. And it says, what does it say? Oh. Look, Fred, that's what was happening to you. It was working for me, I promise. Let me log off and log back in. Now, see, this is the problem with doing a live demo. There we go. But I'm not going to stress on it because we're telling a story here. And the story is, how well can you dance on stage? So these are all of our members. I'm just going to pick on Beam here. And they have a full SAM subscription. You would expect that for all states. And they have 51 members. And if I need to just go in here and edit one of these guys, and I can open them up. I can take away their DivePort license or whatever. I can add a new license. And then this is all synced every night with Scheduler. So I'm going to go back, presentation here. Actually, I'm just going to stay there, and I'll just talk to you. So the other tool they did, we have 200 lookup tables, 20 subscribers, 200 lookup tables. You can imagine managing that, how difficult that can be. Again, we're a small shop, don't have all the people in the world to do this stuff. So the lookup management tool looks a lot like membership management. It's in DivePort. And let me pick on a company that has a good bit of, if I can see. This is horrible when you're relatively blind and trying to look at this. But Beam, we'll pick on Beam again. This is what it looks like. So there are people sending these lookup tables to our help desk. And if the lookup table is the same, we can just upload it right away, and it exists right away for them. If it's different in any way, if any of the headers are different, or if it's just a new lookup, then it gets uploaded for the next day. Our help desk people simply take the file, click that button, upload it, and then that's really all they need to do. It's just so easy for them. It's amazing. And then finally, we have 200 dial jobs. Now, so lookup management, Oliver worked with one of our developers. They kind of tag-teamed it because obviously we didn't want to always be paying for Oliver to do the work. Sorry, DI. But so we then had, from what our developer learned from Oliver, he was able to write the dial management program. And a little laggy here, but it basically looks the same. And let me get to NABCA here. So if you know anything about dial jobs, you need to know, well, what marker might be involved? What project is it? Is it going to be an XLS, a text file? Is it going to go FTP, email? All that's in here. It's usually not this slow coming up. But so it's just information that our admin team adds in. And then the dial jobs just run overnight, or they're created overnight. And then when we create a model or build a model, Pennsylvania account level data, any dial job that's using that C base goes out however it's supposed to go out. It actually works really well. So we don't no longer need to have a lot of people or involve IT on a lot of these jobs. PQRS, I talked about this, so let me go out there. This just wants to be fun. See, I kept my password hidden. I'm learning, Mike. So this is pretty cool. This is the online form. I'm gonna log in and I'm on the training site, so you can actually see this data, because it's not supposed to be real data. This is one of our supplier members. If they need to add a new price quote, which suppliers need to tell the states what they want to list in the state, they can come in here and they can either add a new form, or they can edit an existing product. And so it's just a huge online form. It should come back here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Mike, Tanya. There it is. The form, you can see there's pull down, the normal pull downs, or it's just all this information. What's very cool about this, one of our states said we need an API and to be able to pull in the pricing information and validate what the users are entering, because guess what? You cannot trust users to enter data. So we have an API connection through the form to do that. All right, moving along. Remember I said that NABCA doesn't really move quickly on this stuff, and DI is patient with us and says, you now need to make these changes. So right away, we knew our audience was going to be power users. And we knew DI was working on DivePort, but we didn't go there because we didn't have enough of our customers hammering it for us. But then C-suite sales managers came and DI at DivePort, so we were able to get that going for people quickly. And we're just getting more and more users as we go along. And we have the compliance departments for PQRS, and now we have these salespeople. So now we're at NABCA Gateway, and this tool allows us to have salespeople take an iPad with them and see what's going on in stores. And there are various reports. There's a market share report, a product tracker, and the gap report. I think what's most cool, though, is the daily sales and analytics report is from our daily C-base that all of our ProDiver users and DivePort users also do stuff with. So it's all connected. So this is Gateway. And I'm just going to go into Analytics Daily here. Very nice, clean screen, obviously. You guys, I'm sure, are used to seeing Dive Tab. I'm just going to go in and I want to look at our 18 jurisdictions here. I want to point out that last invoice column. What that shows you is, what we have for Alabama is through September 14th. Well, wait a minute, Amy, when you expand month to date here, you have last year numbers. Are you comparing to the whole month last year? Because that wouldn't really be fair. So we use this feature called same point in time. And that makes sure that if you're looking at Alabama, you are only looking at data through September 14th, 2021. If you're looking at North Carolina, you're only comparing to data from September 3rd, 2021. So what you can see here is all these states have all these different invoice dates, and our comparisons are looking at the same period last year. I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick on a vendor. And why not pick on one of the biggest vendor? Diageo, because they're fun to pick on. This is their screen. So it's a nice snapshot. They can see what's going on. They can see over all of the control jurisdictions. They have 43,000 accounts for month to date this year so far where people have bought product, or bars and restaurants have bought products. So that, they can just dive to their heart's content at this point if they want to. But let's say they just want to bookmark this report, so tomorrow when they come in, they can just see where they are. So I'm just going to do a simple create, and the report gets published, or it's created. I go to my bookmark pages, the report's right there. I can just open it up, and tomorrow, the next day, and the report will be there. I'm going to go back to Analytics Daily. I'm going to pretend I'm a sales rep in Alabama, and I'm responsible for the on-premise accounts, which are bars and restaurants, and I want to see how my product, Malibu, is doing. So I go in here, I see this is the snapshot of what's happening with Alabama on-premise, and I want to go look at Malibu, so I come in here, and I'm going to just sort on shelf price for this one, and there's Malibu down there. Taking a little bit. This is usually pretty quick. That's not bad, really. Oh, but it's not rendered completely. There we go. So now I can see, again, what's going on with Malibu. Especially if this guy's going and talking with restaurant, having promotions at a restaurant and stuff like that. Very nice to have this information. Market share, you see two different market share reports. There's a simplified and there's a universe. Well, if I'm a Tito's and I only sell vodka, I don't want to compare myself to whiskey, right? So the market share simplified allows the suppliers to, when they're looking at their market share, it's just the categories that they're involved in. It's not the universe. If they want to look at the universe for some reason, they can, and they just use the universe tab. So I'm just going to go into simplified here. Now, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, I look like Bacardi. Well, I don't look like Bacardi, but I'm pretending I work for Bacardi. So this is important because remember those permissions and everything we were talking about? Every user is associated to a supplier. So when all that's tied to this one simple system with the membership management and here. So it's made, DI's just done an incredible job with allowing us to keep this very simple and not having to go to 500 places to manage licenses and stuff like that. So I'm going to go into market share here, and I'm just going to sort down just for grins. There you can see the state that we have the largest share, but I'm going to go back, and I just want to, I really wish I had my glasses on at this point because I can't see. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to go into Alabama, and now I see in Alabama what's going on there for Bacardi. Well, if you look at this, there's the current month information. So this is based on the last full month of sales, which unfortunately for us is through July at this point, July of 22. There's a rolling 3 and a rolling 12. I can see for Bacardi that I was down 1.83% this current month. But wait, all the other vendors were down 4.34%. I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy with myself right now. But I look down here at rolling 12, and I see, well, wait a minute, why am I not in these 349 stores? So I'm going to go in. I want to see what's going on there. And I'm going to expand here. My column. And I see that there's my share. Not in that store at all. Okay, that's fine. So let me go in this daiquiri store. Oops. I'm sorry. This is actually much better. So if I keep it this way, apologize. So I see this first store. I want to see what is happening to me. What's happening to my share? Why am I really not doing well? And I continue down. And I want to go down this not in path. And I see, okay, I just don't have any sales. So why? But neither do these other major suppliers. So maybe the store's closed. Maybe there's some flooding. So you start to create these stories as you go down these paths. And so this is what our data can do, is tell you the story. You still have to figure out the whole narrative around it, right? What's going on? But at least you can get there in a quicker way. Okay. Oh, actually, I have one more story, and I don't know where I am time-wise, but I did want to show, because this I found very interesting. If I could go to the right thing. Product tracker. I wasn't going to show this, but again, I'm in this Bacardi, and by the way, I've started this new product called Angel's Envy. And look at that. Okay, I can see that I have these holes. It's a new product. I can see where my sales are starting to increase, right? If we look at September. So if you're one of these states that has, like Wyoming, maybe, that hasn't jumped on this bandwagon, maybe you want to. So we tell stories for salespeople, but also for states. All right, go back to my presentation. I got to finish this up quickly. So we have a story. NABCA and DI, they've done a great job with doing this work for us. We're here to help our member states protect the health and safety of the public, because alcohol beverages are a special product. We can only do that by having the help and support of DI and putting in these large systems for us. And they've done a phenomenal job at that. But here's the other story. And again, with the numbers, these are our number of users over time. Every vertical red bar is when we put in a new tool from DI. Look what happens. We go up every time. That last vertical red bar is Gateway. I have no idea where it's going to end up. Absolutely none. I'm hoping it's going to be like that shot up, and we're going to get more, and we're just going to make Fred and Stan and everybody happy because we're going to get another 750 users. But I do want to say, Fred, I hope you appreciate this too. Last night, Steve and I did the simulation. I don't know how many of you did that. So we did the jet one. The jet simulation reminded me, I was fortunate enough earlier this year to attend a talk by retired Colonel Nicole Malkowski. She is the first female pilot for the Thunderbirds, Air Force Thunderbirds demonstration team. And she talks about teams and what does it take. I mean, when you're flying like those planes together, you got to have a lot of trust and confidence in each other, right? And it doesn't have to be your own team inside. It can be companies you work with. She talked about the wingman contract. And I guess you can guess what the wingman contract is, but I'm going to read it to you from her website. And yes, now I'm putting my glasses on. The wingman contract represents the gentleman's handshake and the gentlewoman's agreement that says, this is our culture and our standards of behavior. It is an inherent and often unspoken promise to each other that our actions will always represent the mission, the professional standards, and the values of the whole team. Adherence to the wingman contract enables every member of a team, regardless of their level of responsibility and authority, to make agile, decisive, and independent decisions that always align with a team's goals and collective best interest. I know that DI has done this with us because guess what? Stan and Fred, I don't know if you guys remember, in 1989, you said you formed DI to use technology for good. NABCA, we're using technology for good. We're trying to combine these numbers and do good out there because our states want to do good. They're trying to help the public. So thanks to DI. I love the wingman's contract. You guys are our wingman. And now I need like Top Gun, and I'm gonna go outside.